actually heard Jay-Z say it best, where he says, when you go and speak to someone about, your endeavors, what you're working on, because they don't understand it, they're going to project their fear onto you. That's them being fearful of what you are about to do, because to them it's a risk that they would never ever take in their life. So here you are asking someone who has no concept about what you're doing, never actually took a risk in their life, never even walked the journey that you're on for a day. They have no idea how you got to where you are or what you've been through to get to where you are. Their immediate response is going to be based on what they would do. You can't ask somebody what they would do about your life.
Let's have a conversation. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? I hope that all of you are doing well. I hope that you've had a good day. I hopped on with my computer today because y'all have been telling me that when I've been going live with my phone, it's been cutting in and out and going on and off. So hopefully there's not going to be issues with being on my computer, and y'all are going to be able to hear this loud and clear. So, as you can see by the title, I just wanted to recap my experience with Sam from the TV show, the Netflix show, The Circle. And I don't just want to give you my comments about the actual interview that I did with her, but I just want to give you a recap of the entire experience, because it was not just an easy ABC 1, 2, 3 thing. Hey, Lisa. I think on camera, it might translate to looking like it was flawless and easy, but it was not necessarily like that. It was actually quite difficult all around until I actually got there. And even then, there were some problems, but I'm overall very happy with how it went. So let's start from the beginning. If you have not watched The Circle season 5, if you have not watched The Circle at all, go watch The Circle if you have Netflix. It's a pretty cool show. And it's a show where you get a profile. Some people are catfish and some people are really themselves. But based on like conversations and different games that they play, you're trying to basically get clout and trust from the other castmates. And each week, I'm saying week, but they're not there for weeks. They're only there for a couple of weeks. But like each day, I guess, they are doing things towards trying to get a vote, a first place vote or a second place vote, so they can be one of the two influencers, which makes them safe from getting eliminated from the house, or blocked as they call it. It keeps them safe from getting blocked from the house. Hey Van Hoot, what's up? Yeah, I'm getting my sea legs under me because I know that in 2 weeks or so, I'm going to be on these lives weekly. I took a break. I don't know if you guys really noticed, but I took about a month break from doing lives. And I've started to pick back up the volume of doing the lives because lives are hard. They're a commitment. Anyways, I digress as I do often. But if you have not seen the show The Circle on Netflix, please do me a favor and take a look. And I want to say watch from seasons 1 to 5. However, watch season 5. And the reason why I'm saying watch season 5 is because then you will know who Sam is. and you'll know why I was so interested to interview her in the first place. Sam cracked me up on the show. So hilarious. Yeah, Van Hoop BB is coming on, what is it, August the 2nd. Let me see how far that is from today. Today is July 19th. So Big Brother isn't exactly 2 weeks from today, actually. Big Brother is coming up 2 weeks from today. Wow. Yeah, so check out season 5. Sam is from Brooklyn. So I was like, I don't know if she's going to leave Brooklyn. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it would be really cool if I was able to run into her somewhere. And on some various Circle fan Facebook groups that I'm on and everything like that, people were like, oh, I met Sam here. I met up with Sam here. I saw Sam here. And I'm like, oh, so she's really here. Like, she still lives here, like she's accessible or whatever. I believe I may have reached out via her email that she has on her Instagram. I might have sent her like a message, Instagram DM. I never really got any responses from that. So I was like, cool. I'm not really meant to see her. Or if I see her, I see her. If I don't, I don't. That's kind of where I was at. So one time on her Instagram, she had a post that she's going to be hosting such and such party in Brooklyn. So I was like, oh, this is actually a great opportunity to meet her, because I don't know where else I would meet her. I would assume that she's kind of keeping a low profile, which she confirmed to me, when I met with her yesterday. But yeah, so I went to this party. I met up with her. I have a post about that too. And when I met with her, it was like she was excited that I was there as a fan. And I never had that experience before, because you guys know I've been to plenty of events now, challenge events, Survivor events, Big Brother. And usually when I see them, it's not really like, oh, cool, you're my fan. Maybe the Survivor people, the newest Survivor people, were a little bit like that. But some of them were like, I'm a star. Like, I'm not going to lie about that. Sometimes I had that experience where I meet somebody from a reality TV show, and when I approach them, it's like, thanks for being my fan. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm just making a point that some of them I really connect with and feel like I'm talking to a real person. Like, this is just a real regular person that happened to be on a show. And other ones, I'm like, they're like kind of more in the clouds. And I'm not going to name names, because then people will take those names and send them to those people. So I'm just going to leave that out of there and make that as a general statement. But Sam is not one of those. That's the point of me even saying all that. So when I met her, I intended to ask her if she would do an interview with me. I mentioned to her that I had interviewed Chaz. Yeah, you've seen it happen, right, Lisa? That's why this upcoming Big Brother live watch party that I'm going to, I might be a little more careful with my words, or I might make my post members only or something. I don't know. I've seen people do that. I've seen people go live where they talk about something that a lot are interested in, and the people who catch it live, and then they put it as members only. So the people who want to watch the replay, they have to pay to be able to see what you said. Sam has one thick accent for sure. She's New York all day. She's New York all day. So yeah, so she was like, what do you want me to do? She was like, I'll host the show with you. I'll do an interview with you. Whatever you want. Whatever you want, I'm with it. So I said to her, can we do like an in-person interview? And she was like, sure. So I was happy about that. But at the same time, if you guys saw my roster of people who have told me that they are going to do those things for me and not done them, the people who are members on my channel, they know. Because every time somebody is like, Mark, I'll do an interview with you. Mark, I'll do this or this and this with you. I post it on my members only page, and they see. So I have an all-star lineup of people who have said yes, and I'm trying to get those interviews going, and they either canceled on me or stopped responding. So I wasn't sure whether Sam was going to follow through or not. You know, like I'm not as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as I was when Indy said that she was going to do that, or Indy's manager, whoever, said that this interview was locked in. Now I'm kind of little more reserved. Like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I'll survive. You're on the road to 10K this year. Appreciate that, Van Hoot, and hopefully so are you. On the road to 10K, and also on the road to your personal accomplishments that you're going for that we've talked about offline. So anyways, fast forward. We worked on locking in this date. And I understand that Sam and any person who is like an influencer from these shows, I understand that they have different type of time than me. My schedule, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That's when I work. That's every week, 40 hours a week of work. And I get in anything else where I can fit it. Whereas these people, they travel all the time. They host, they go to parties, they do this, they do that, they do freelance work, they do like entrepreneurial things. Like, that's mostly how they fill their time and schedule. So I understood that Sam or any of these people that I contact, I have an understanding that it's going to be hard to schedule with them. And if they say, I'm free at such and such day and time, you make yourself free. So she gave me a day and time that wasn't convenient to me. And I said all this to her. And she understood too. You know what I mean? Like, we had a very good conversation. So she gave me a date and time that wasn't convenient at all. And I was trying to lock in a videographer to record this interview. And the original people that I had to do it were not available because it was during the daytime and people are at work. And then I was like, it's okay. I don't have those people, but there's a million videographers in New York. Well, I feel like I reached out to 999,999 of them. And all but one were like, can we do it after 5 p.m.? Can we do it after 5 p.m.? Do you have a weekend available? Can we do this on Saturday or Sunday? And I'm like, it's really hard to find a videographer that doesn't have a 9 to 5 out here. Like, where's all the videographers that do videography for a living? Man. So I started to get really, really frustrated. And Sam was telling me, like, you know, if you're not able to do this, it's okay. We could do it another time. And I'm a seize the moment guy, because I have to be. Especially in these type of scenarios, you got to seize the moment. It was like when Alyssa Lopez gave me a date and time that wasn't good for me. And then we had issues with the time that she gave me because the time zone, she gave me the wrong time, basically. And then she was like, hey, I just realized that I gave you this time, but because of the time zone difference, I'm actually in this time zone. So I have this time that's available 6 hours after the time that I said that I was available for. And I was like, oh, okay, let me move around my whole schedule, because she told me we can either do this at this day at this time, or you can reach out to me next month. And that's like playing the Powerball at that point. Like, you take the times and you can get the times. I say all that to say, I told Sam, no, I'll have somebody available. So I finally found somebody that was willing, able to record it, and had the time. They said that they had a little bit of time, but they did have the time. Locked it in. But I was a little shaky. I remember showing up to this one show one time. The dude made us wait 4 hours. Turns out he was playing on a skateboard. Really? Wow. So I got the videographer. I locked her in. But one thing about me is that I like to know all the people that I'm working with ahead of time, because I like to know that I can depend on people, and I have anxiety issues. So I had all these thoughts in my head about, what if I arrive and Sam doesn't arrive? Or what if I arrive and Sam arrives and the videographer doesn't arrive, and then I have nobody to record this? What am I going to do then? I was just a bunch of things going on in my head. But I was like, okay, let me just go, and whatever happens, happens. Hope everything works out for the best, right? So I get to the place a little before the time we were supposed to record, like maybe 20 minutes early or so. Sam messages me about 10 minutes. She was there early too. So she got there, but she sent me a picture on Instagram, and she was like, I'm here. And the picture that she sent me was of a place that was closed. It was a picture of a place that had a vacancy sign on it. And I was like panicking. I was like, oh my goodness, please tell me I did not give her the wrong address, or tell me that there's not multiple boroughs that have that same address and I sent her to the wrong one. Because if she's somewhere else that's far away from here, this is gonna be crazy. So my mind already started going round and round. So I was like, let me just video call her and see what happens. So I video called her, and she was like, oh, okay, where are you? And because she's a real New Yorker, unlike me, she was like, oh, just like, show me what's around you. Okay, this street and this street. Oh, okay, I'm down the block. Me, I would have had to throw on my GPS again and be like, I don't really know where that is. But she navigated to me in like 2 seconds. So great. I got Sam there. Then I get a message from the videographer that they're running late because of the traffic. And I'm like, oh boy. So she's here with me. The videographer's not here. All right, but at least she's there, so I know that I have that much. That's the main thing, and I know that the videographer is on the way. So let me just let her know. So I'm like, hey, Sam, just letting you know the videographer's running a little bit late. She said, no problem. Ain't a problem. Just, I don't really have anything on my schedule much for today, so I can sit here and chill until the videographer gets here. Then when they get there, we can do our thing. Now, remember, this is my first in-person interview that I've done of any of these reality TV stars. All the other ones so far have been Zoom interviews or StreamYard interviews. So I've never been face-to-face with any of them while doing an interview. So I was already all kinds of nervous about that. Okay. What I'm saying now is a little bit of a continuation of something I said on my Instagram live. Things don't always go as you plan them to go, but sometimes the unexpected things that happen make them go better than they would have gone otherwise. So like I said, I had all these nerves. So let's say the videographer gets there right on time. Sam gets there right on time. I'm there right on time. And they're like, let's record. Then I'm going to get into that interview as a ball of nerves, because you guys don't know when I'm nervous when I'm doing a Zoom interview because I'm on Zoom. They don't know that I'm nervous. I'm in my house, or I'm miles and miles away from them, or even if I'm not far from them, we're not in the same room. So if I get nervous, it doesn't necessarily translate on camera. But in person, I felt like it could. So I was like, I don't want to look stupid on camera or in front of my guest. But that time that we spent waiting for the videographer, we were able to have a conversation. And it wasn't just like talking about circle stuff, talking about the show. We did talk some about the show, but I told her I don't want to talk to you too much about the show before we start recording, because I want to save most of my questions for while the recording is going on, so that the conversation is organic instead of like you already have pre-thought out answers. You know, like I really like organic conversations. So because of that, we ended up talking about a lot of different things. Like, you know, I was telling her about the half marathon that I ran. I was telling her about different things. She was telling me about different things. And that calmed me down. You know, that made me relaxed. So by the time the videographer arrived, I'm feeling like, yo, we're cool, we're friends. So this is just two friends having a chat. Like the nervousness part was out of my mind by then. So then we start setting everything up to record the video, and we're all ready. We started to go with the recording. Everything was going very well. And then we hear some thunder, and then right after the thunder, pouring rain. So the rain started pouring. We were about halfway through the interview. The rain started pouring heavily to the point where you couldn't hear the audio. So the videographer was like, yeah, we got to stop because they're not going to be able to hear it. The rain is too loud. The sound of the rain outside is too loud on the roof. But actually, if you told me beforehand that that exact thing was going to happen, I would have thought I'd be panicking. I'd be thinking that we're past the time that we're supposed to have. I would be thinking maybe if this person didn't get here late, we would have been done recording before the thunderstorm. But I was just like, Sam was cool. You know, she didn't look panicked. She was like, I'm here to wait it out. I'm fine. Like, I can wait out this storm. The videographer was like, I'm sorry that I was here late, you know, so I'm not going to be leaving right at the exact time that we had scheduled to leave. We're going to leave when this thing is completed. So I'm like, okay, Sam's cool. The videographer is cool. I'm fine. So I actually, some of you guys saw, eventually, like, I threw on my YouTube live. She got on her TikTok live, which I got to start doing. I have a TikTok. I'm starting to try to utilize my TikTok more. But anyways, the interview went really well. The interview went extremely well, in my opinion. She told me both on the camera and off the camera, like, she was like, you know, I do a lot of these interviews and you gave me a lot of questions that I haven't gotten before. Like, a lot of your questions are new questions that I haven't received before. And like I told Lisa in the comments, that was a huge compliment to me, because all of you who follow my page know how I prepare. I prepare so thoroughly. So to prepare for this, I watched the show again. I had already seen her season, but I watched it again from episode 1 to episode 13. I took note of every single Sam scene of the show. I had questions in there. I didn't even end up asking her all of my questions. One, because sometimes I got caught up in her answers. I wasn't expecting some of her answers. So I'm like, tell me more about that. That was part of it. Part of it was, in an interview, you kind of go by what's happening more. You can't just, some people do just read everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I'm not like that. But anyways, I took note of all her different scenes and questions that I had of all the different scenes and narrowed it down, which I'll shout out to Danny for that, because Danny has really helped me with my preparation process. Not for this one, but just the preparation that we did for the interview with Chaz really helped me with forming my questions for Sam. And then I had been looking at, different things that she was saying, her Twitter. I was looking at some other interviews that she did, because I'm like, I know that some things are going to overlap, but I always try to get like a little feel of generally other interviews that they've done with other people and give them something new. Like when I interviewed Wes, I did that thing about what were you thinking when, where I showed him pictures of various like classic challenge moments that he had. He was amused by that. Yeah, like every person that I interview, I spend a lot of time thinking about that particular person. I'm very locked into them until that interview is done. And yeah, so I was so you saw me smile in that video, and she said, "Oh, this guy gave me all these questions that I never got before, and this is one of my favorite ones." I love hearing that, because it means that all the work that I put in 20 hours of work for 1 hour of conversation. So this is a 21-hour project. To talk about Sam is very cool. What you see is what you get. You ask her a question. There were certain things that we spoke about with the show before we started recording, and you'll see me ask her, is it okay if I ask you this? Or like, I don't know if you're able to answer this on camera. She's like, yes, I can. So I like your interviews. You're very likable. Thanks, Rich / Flake. Good thing that I can identify you by your picture. Yeah, so the interview went really well. It felt like I was just talking to an old friend that I've known for years. Some parts of it were funny. Some parts of it were thought-provoking. Some parts of it were personal. There was a lot that went into this, and I think that when it comes out, I really hope you guys watch it, support it, comment, share. I'm making a push this year. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been making a push to put my stuff out there more. Because instead of just saying, well, my content is only getting X amount of views and it's not enough subscribers that I need or whatever, now I'm saying it just hasn't reached all the people that it needs to reach yet. And I feel like once it reaches the people that it needs to, my page is going to grow and the page is going to expand. But I do want to shout out Sam, because she showed up. She was there on time. She was very, very easy to work with. Very easy to work with. I also had that same experience with Chaz, although that was an online interview. But with Sam, very professional, very easy to work with. There was even like a little sketch that I wanted to do. I'm not going to give away the sketch, but it's kind of a funny sketch. It did have to get altered a little bit just because of the rain. So there was like an outdoor part that I wanted to have in there that I wasn't able to do, but she was with that right away. Yeah, so I really, even though the day actually went quite a bit differently than how I planned and quite a bit differently than how I expected it to go, I think that y'all are gonna like it, and I think that it went well regardless. And I think also it did something for me in a sense of it let me know that I'm able to do this. So Sam is the first, but there's going to be others. I don't know when. I don't know when those others are gonna come, and I don't know who those others are gonna be, but they're gonna come. I'm gonna ask somebody. I'm gonna have an opportunity to talk to them. I have so many ideas in my head, and I've had these ideas for a while, but I didn't necessarily have the confidence to ask for what I wanted. Previously, I would have seen that same advertisement for Sam at that party, and I would have gone to the party and just been like, "Hey, Sam, I'm a big fan. I loved you on the show," and then gone home and then been like, "Man, I wish that I had actually had the courage and the confidence to ask for her to do this with me." But that time, I actually went on a mission. I'm like, yes, I want to see her, tell her I'm a fan, and I enjoyed her on the show. I also want to tell her that I have a channel that I'm trying to build, and I need you for this. I mean, I don't need her in a sense of like, it could be somebody else. But honestly, I'm excited. I'm thrilled that it was actually Sam, because there are times when there's people that I like from the show that I've gotten, not necessarily the circle. She's the second person I got from the circle, but there's people that I've gotten from other shows that I'm like, I like this person, and then there's other people where I'm like, yo, as soon as I saw this person, I wanted to meet them and I wanted to speak to them and interview them. She was that. The last time I felt like that was when I interviewed Wes, because I've been a big Wes Bergman fan for his whole career, his whole TV career, from Real World up until now. So, um, being able to interview Wes was a big deal to me. What instruments do I play? I play the saxophone, I play the piano, and I play the ukulele. I know how to play a couple of other instruments, but those are the main ones that I can say that I play fairly well. Unfortunately, I used to play and put that stuff on this channel, but I learned that I don't compose my own music. So I learned that even playing a song that is not owned by you, YouTube will take it down. Matter of fact, one time I sang the song Teddy Bear, Elvis Presley, Teddy Bear. I sang the song, no instrument, no background. And they sent a copyright thing and took the video down. And I was like, YouTube is doing the most. You know, when I told you guys that I don't know if I'll stay on YouTube, that was part of it too. Even if my page does get really popular or something, I'm like, it has to make sense in terms of maybe super chats or membership subscriptions and all that good stuff, that I'm making enough for everything that they take out for me to still be having a net gain from being on the YouTube page. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm not speaking negativity into the air. I plan to have a thriving and successful page. I plan to have a page that has a good, solid amount of followers. I expect things to pick up when the Big Brother season starts, just like it did last year, because my channel provides something that other channels don't provide. And let me talk about that for a minute, because I think that when I said this on that other live, when I was live with my cell phone, it was cutting in and out. But I just want to talk to that. I want to talk to you guys for a minute about what my page provides differently than other pages. There are pages that I really respect. Like, for instance, Rob has a podcast. It's not everybody's favorite page, but it's a popular page, and a lot of people like the page. The thing that I respect about that page is the fact that they are very extremely thorough with their coverage. And what I mean by that is not even the volume or how long they're on, but the amount of research that they do. They research the show, they watch the show, they are very accurate with their information. They don't just put things out just to put things out. They're very consistent with their content. It seems like this must be a significant part of Rob's income because he does it a lot, and he does it. He shows up, and his people show up when they're supposed to show up, etc. Right? There's other channels that are not thorough in terms of research and in terms of accuracy. They're just gossip channels. It's like I'll throw 100 things up there. Whatever's true is true, and whatever is not. And I'll call it a day as long as people are watching, right? So my channel, I do research sometimes, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Like I just told you guys, I spent 21 hours of research to do a 1 hour interview with Sam. But generally, I don't got time for that. Like I do have a 9 to 5. I work 40 hours a week, and I have a lot of extracurricular activities on top of that. So I don't have time to sit down and like examine these reality TV shows to the extreme degrees that some other people do. And that's not an insult. It's just, stating a fact. So I don't do the research like that. I don't do the gossip. Okay. So many things I see, and even people put them in the comments. Did you hear that this person, this one broke up, this one and this one are dating, this one did this here and said that, or did this or did that? I might be like, that's interesting, but I'm not going on here to cover it because it's like interesting. It's an interesting thing to like watch one of those channels for a little bit or check out what's happening on Twitter, but that's not my type of coverage. Y'all know I'm a mental health counselor, and that's the way that I view everything. That's my lens for the world. I view things from a mental health perspective, including reality TV. So I watch the shows. I'm unbiased. I examine their behavioral patterns. I'm not somebody who's watching to jump on one side. I'm team Taylor. I'm team Monty. I'm team this one. I'm team that one. And I saw a lot of that going on last year when I was covering. Either you're team this one or you're team that one, you're team this or you're team that. Guess what? I don't know them. I do not know the people that enter those shows. Now I know a few of them, so maybe I might be more prone to defend somebody if they were to go on another show, but generally I don't know them. Even if I've met them, gone to a challenge party or survivor party and met them, taken pictures with them, talked and laughed with them, that doesn't mean I know them. That doesn't mean I have their personal phone number and we chop it up outside of the show and then all that stuff, right? So I don't know them. So I'm just an unbiased fan that is observing what is happening in the house. And I'm watching all the different pieces and I'm making educated guesses based on my experience in the mental health field, my personal experiences and my work experiences and my life experiences on what is going on here and why. And I used to feel like in order for me to have a successful channel, I have to pick the heavy research lane, like what I was talking about, or the heavy like gossip and toxicity lane, like one or the other, to be able to succeed. But I actually just stayed in my lane and found that people just liked what I covered, just how I am. I'm inquisitive. I like to look at people and observe them and figure out why they're saying this, why they're doing that, right? And that's what I've done on my channel. And I'm thankful because the channel has taught me, doing all the things that I've done on the channel has taught me that what I do is enough. Let me see. When they were coming at Taylor, yes, I was unbiased. This is what I mean by I'm unbiased, right? I don't mean that when something happens that I don't like, I'm not going to say I don't like that or I don't like the person that did that. What I mean by unbiased is some people would see Taylor coming into the house and say, Taylor is a sister. Taylor is a beautiful black woman, right? So I want her to win this game. She can do no wrong because she is a black woman, and the black woman is knocked down and marginalized or whatever. So I'm not really I'm observing through that lens. So for me, I don't have a lens. I don't have a biased lens when I'm watching the show. Now, is there some bias? Yes. I'm not going to say there's absolutely no bias. Like, I look at the people who look like me and I'm like, hey, bro, hey, sis, you know, I would love to see you succeed or do well in this game. But in terms of how I call the game, I call the game down the middle. Like, if Taylor came in and she was saying she was lying to people, she was being manipulative and bullying people, whatever, I would say that. And there are some people who would see her doing the same thing and be like, no, she's not, because this is her demographic, or there's a reason for that. You know, like, she can do that because this and this has probably happened to her in her life. That type of thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Some people would be nasty about Taylor. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by I call it down the middle. I loved Taylor, but I loved Taylor based on she gave me a reason to love her. You know, like watching her and how she was in the house and how she carried and conducted herself made me really love watching her. You know, it's not just that I automatically was like, she can do nothing wrong. She, you know, she walks on air. That's what I first loved about this channel. Mark is completely objective and entertaining. Fun convos with no drama. Let me give you guys an example of a place where I was attacked. I'll give you an example. There was two situations. The first one that I recall was when Kyle made his Cookout 2.0 comments, right? I feel differently now after enough time has gone by to be like, those comments came from somewhere. Call it like I see it. But at that time in the house, as a lot of us or most of us did not know Kyle, right? So he's coming into a game where the previous season just had a group that made an alliance to evict all the people who were not black, and they actually did and made it all the way to the end, the 6 of them. And we go into a following season and you're in the Big Brother house and he's like, well, I wonder if this and this person might be making like another cookout. Is it the best comment for him to have made? Obviously not. But the place where the comment was coming from, it was too early to decide. And that's what I said. And I had people be like, Mark, you're Uncle Ruckus. Mark, I'm a black man and I'm disappointed in you as a black man and I'm unfollowing your channel. I'm willing to have people unfollow my channel for that. You know what I mean? It's not even that I'm going to bat for the guy. It's just that I'm saying I'm not going to call somebody racist until I've seen enough evidence to know that they're racist. And what he said at that particular time was not enough for me to bang the gavel on him. Where are these other comments coming from? Which other comments? Evil. Yeah, I had people, and then I had people coming at me, and they're probably going to come back because there's going to be some black man on the show that they're going to be riding and rocking for. So when I was saying that I didn't like the way that Monty was, the whole Monty thing with Paloma and how he was team Paloma, and he was trashing Taylor to the rest of the house, and then the whole headphone gate where Monty took off, Taylor took off the headphones, and then he told her that basically she deserved all the comments that she got because she comes across as an ice queen, blah blah blah. And I was like, Monty's wrong for that, and I was disgusted watching that conversation, and generally how he behaved in the house, specifically when it came to Taylor. And people are like, black men were like, you just don't want to see a black man succeed, blah blah blah, you're tearing down the black king and this and that. And I'm like, behavior is behavior. If somebody who looks like me has a certain behavior that I don't respect or agree with, it doesn't matter how they look. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Reminds me of the Pentecostal churches I was a member as a kid. The church split once, then again. Flakes comments, I don't see that person in the chat. That's weird because they're saying they don't see you and you're saying you don't see them. That's odd. I don't really get it. I can't see Van Hoot's comments in here. Maybe something's glitching on my page then. I don't know. That's weird. That is odd. Flake is Rich, by the way, if you know Rich. Van Hoot. They don't exist. Yeah, I'm always going to call things down the middle, whether the person is white, black, female, gay, straight, non-binary. Like, it doesn't matter who they are or what they identify as. I am going to call their behavior of what I see as their behavior. And something that I didn't like is the fact that, and I hesitate to say this, but I'm still going to say it. I don't care. I'm still going to say it. People told me that I was against Taylor for making commentary about what I think that she should have done as gameplay as the game was going on. I'm like, you should have done this, or I think that this wasn't the best thing to say. That didn't mean that I didn't like her, and it didn't mean that I wasn't a fan of her. It just means that people can do good things and bad things. People can make good choices and bad choices. It's like same thing that would happen with a friend. If I did something and a friend was like, Mark, I don't think that was it. I think that this was not the best decision that you could have made. They're still my friend. And as a matter of fact, they're more of my friend than somebody who could watch and look at something and think that I didn't make the best choice, but not advise me otherwise. You can do no wrong. Let me see. Like I said, Taylor is BB Scotty Barnes, the way the fandom treats her both positively and negatively. Yeah, if nobody knows what Van Hoot is talking about, which I'm sure most of my subscribers don't, he's talking about a basketball team, the Toronto Raptors, and there's a player that we just got on the team that some people are either like, he's perfect, and then there's another crowd that's like, he's not good enough, I hate him, and there's nothing that he can do that will make me think otherwise. And that is how a lot of people are with the Big Brother house guests. They either become stans, where it's like, I love this person, and they walk on air, they walk on water, or they're like, I hate this person, and there's nothing that they can do that will make me think otherwise. And nope. And for me, depending on what the situation is, for instance, Monty could have redeemed himself for me. Like, he didn't, but he could have. You know, after the Paloma incident, I was actually starting to warm up to the guy. When he went to her, he apologized. He told her, I'm such an idiot. I was so wrong about my impression of you early on, blah, blah, blah. I was getting to a point where I was like, you know what? He made a mistake. He owned up to it. You know, I'm cool with the guy. And then when the whole incident happened in the bathtub, and then, I mean, in the room and in the bathtub, and then his conversation with Turner the next day, I was just like, nah. But I always give people the chance first. Down the stretch, she was way too cozy. You know what? People don't want to admit this. And by people, I just mean like Taylor stans. They don't want to admit this. The last couple of weeks in the house, it was downright miraculous that she was able to get through that and then win the game. Let's be real. I'm happy she won, but it's not necessarily game played. And no, I'm not insinuating that it was like Monty was the reason that she won, because some people were saying that. She still had to play the game and win the game. But what I'm just saying is she wasn't necessarily making the best decisions down the stretch. And social clout helped her get to where she was, because she was two people's number two. She was, I mean, I guess she was not necessarily Turner's number two, but the thing is, Turner kept her because he wanted to keep Monty's trust. So it kind of worked out for her in the end. Don't second guess yourself. Don't look back, and certainly don't apologize. I appreciate that. I'll call you Flake because it's hard to keep switching your name, Flake. I will apologize anytime I'm wrong. That's what I'm willing to do. I use this as an example. There was this one time when I posted up my recap video of going to Big D's birthday party, and I said a little bit about Taylor and Joseph at the party, and I got flamed everywhere. People found me on Instagram. People were putting crazy stuff in my comments. They're like, you're a stalker, you're a weirdo, you took secret videos. I'm like, how did I take secret videos of people who are talking to me? Number one, obviously, a lot of videos I'm talking to them in the video, so somebody else was there taking the videos of me. And other videos that I took, several of them, I was having conversations with them with my camera on. It's a fan event. That's what the fans do at fan events. They come there, have a good time, chat with people. They take videos and pictures for their memory. And especially I'm going to do it because I'm doing it for my channel. So they came at me weirdly and said that I hate Taylor and I hate Joseph and all that stuff. But now I just know how that goes. So I actually am mentally preparing myself. I'm mentally preparing myself for when I go to the Big Brother premiere party, that people are going to do that. But the way that I'm going to see it is like, it's going to bring a bunch of people to my channel, and viewership, even if it's negative, sometimes it benefits you. Put a few extra dollars in my pocket. I think I already read that. How does Drake feel about him? Drake loves Scotty Barnes. If money kept the frantic chick who, oh, you're talking about Britney, probably. If Monty, he would have won. If he had kept Britney, that's true. Britney would not have beat him. Britney would definitely not have beat him. But the thing they were saying they were scared of is they felt like Britney was a bigger threat than Taylor to win a competition in the final three. Or at least that's the thing that Monty was saying to Turner. Although I think that Turner was confident about having a final three with Monty was confident about having a final three with Turner and Taylor because he felt like if he lost the final three, one of them would take him because at that stage he was both of their number ones and he wasn't Britney's number one. So the only way for him to have gotten there with Britney, I feel honestly, would have been for him to win and take Britney with him. That being said, I would have wanted Alyssa. I would have wanted Alyssa to stay in the game. I'm being truthful. I would have wanted Alyssa to stay in the game. Because look at this. Cody, season 16 and season 22, right? Season 16, he has a chance to take, I forgot her name. Vanessa, Victoria. Season 16, Cody has a chance between Victoria or Derek, and he's like Hitman. Like I ride to the end with Hitman. To be honest with you, I take Victor. Listen, second place on Big Brother is like 75K now. It was 50K at the time. Winner gets 500K and second place gets 50K. I know it's in their contracts that they can't split it or whatever, but you can't control that once you get the money. So to be quite honest with you, I would pick Victoria to go with me because I'm guaranteed to beat Victoria. There's no way anyone can make any argument that Victoria should win against me, right? So I pick Victoria, and then once the money comes in, I tell Derek. I mean, maybe I don't tell him on camera, but I just decide, yo, I'm just gonna give you the second place prize. I'm gonna give you 50K out of my winnings because we rode together. Even if he doesn't accept it or he's like, whatever, you should have picked me. I'm there to win the game. I'm not there to get second place. So I would be in there making the best moves for me to win the number one prize, not number two. So he learned. So the second time when he had the choice of Nicole or Enzo on All Stars, he's like, I'm picking Enzo. Enzo guarantees me the bag. Got wasted and hit on everyone. Monty fooled himself with Britt being able to win any comp. Like, come on, man. Brittany was really smart. I'll give her that, but she was not going to win the final three. They both make my skin crawl. If Alyssa would have stayed in the game, I don't know if her and Kyle would have stayed together. I felt like Alyssa was using Kyle. I really did. To be honest, I would totally make deals legal or not. Just wanted to know exactly, Flake. Even if it's in the contracts that you can't do that, I would have it in my mind. Like, if somebody helps me get to the end and I win, and they really, really put their neck out for me and help me get to the end, I break them off a little something. And I think it's stupid that Big Brother doesn't allow that because the challenge allows it. They openly are allowed to be like, yo, if I win, I'm breaking off this and this. If any of you watch the challenge, there was this season where Corey where there was a choice. Everybody wanted to throw Corey into an elimination, and Corey was there because I think either his kid was just born, or maybe maybe his girl was pregnant. I think his child was recently born, and his first child, and he was like, I really need this money for her college fund or to help with diapers, whatever. So his friend Nelson volunteered, and Corey actually said openly, yo, if I win this game, I got you, bro. The CBS producers let Taylor win. What happened to the girl who was Southern? Jasmine? The one that had the problem with her leg? Oh, yeah, I would have some sort of pact with people for sure. If you remember the night before the finale, she went in the DR when her game was already over. I don't really remember. Oh, yeah, they called her in. That's right. But I thought they also called in Monty and they called in Turner as well. Yo, I'm gonna miss toss in a few K. I assume that's a lot of autocorrect. Yes, Jasmine. The first thing that came out of her mouth was talking bad about Monty the next day, and the first thing they do is to try to hook her and Joseph up for the fake relationship. Problem with her leg. Yeah, that was a funny thing. That was a funny thing how she milked that. She milked that ankle sprain for all it was worth. They called in everyone. Yeah, autocorrect. I meant to say I will toss you a few thousand. Exactly. I'll toss you a few $1,000 versus bringing somebody who has a better resume than me into the final two and having them take that away from me. Because there's a huge difference between getting 750,000 and getting 75,000. Huge difference. And I'm picking the best odds. Now, I'm going to say something a little different than you guys. I don't necessarily think it's a no-brainer that Monty should have taken Turner to the final two. However, I think that Monty should have gotten Taylor out way before the final three. I think that once she was there for a certain amount of time and she survived all these different people that were against her and multiple alliances that she wasn't in, and then the leftovers were gone and she was like the one of the last standing from the leftovers and this, that, and the other. It was like, it was clearly building for it to be a season where Taylor could have won. And they're here talking about, oh, Alyssa is so dangerous. I would never want to sit in a seat next to Alyssa. Bruh, give me put Alyssa in the seat next to me, please. I would love to see her explain a social game. I'm winning competitions. I'm strategizing. I'm getting out like Michael and like all this different stuff going on. And Alyssa's like, well, I didn't win anything, but I was here while this one was having a conversation and that one was having. It's the same thing like Victoria. Alyssa is Victoria. That's how I view her. Her crutch and her B-Day. Definitely. Turner used to make a lot of jokes about that, where he would be like, it's my birthday year. Are you gonna get me out on my birthday year? Jasmine is funny. I look forward to meeting Jasmine. Honestly, out of all the people that I'm gonna meet at this Big Brother premiere thing, Jasmine is really one of the ones that I'm looking forward to meeting the most. And not because of her in the house, but because of like I follow her on Instagram. I've seen some of her Instagram lives. She responded to several of my questions on Instagram Live before. And she seems like a person who allows for you to have back and forth dialogue or to say, I like this or I didn't like this. One of the first lives of hers that I ever went on, she said, I respect any opinions that you have of me based on the things that I said or did in the Big Brother house, as long as you are willing to have a dialogue with me where I can speak on where I was at this time and why I said that. And, we can go from there. She's fair. I don't like people that come out of the house and are like, well, you weren't there, so you don't know. Obviously, we weren't there. Or like, I'll never have a conversation with you because you're a hater because you said this and this and this. Well, you might have done something at that time I'm like, that's wrong. That doesn't mean that I don't like you. Like, there's people that I love to death right now. Ride or die people in my life that I don't like everything that they do. And they don't like everything that I do. And that's not a healthy relationship anyways. It's not realistic. Alyssa wasn't too bright, to be honest. Van Hoot, Alyssa's going to be on the next season, the upcoming season of Challenge USA. We're going to have Alyssa Snyder from season 24 and Alyssa Lopez. We're going to have the Alyssa combination on BB, on the Challenge USA Part 2. They're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. I'm not sure what you're responding to because I didn't read the comment on time. I just saw actually on her Insta. I hope to get Alyssa back. I mean, I sent her an email, but did she see it or not? I'm not sure. But I would love to get Alyssa back on my channel to talk to her about the Challenge USA once that airs. I actually have a few things going on. Oh, I just got a Twitter notification, which I barely look at, but I got a Twitter notification that the BB25 cast is out, I think. As a person to kick it with, she seems cool. Either Alyssa. I know, yeah. I don't have a, well, I'm not going to say I don't have a problem with Alyssa from BB24. The one thing that I didn't like about Alyssa from BB24 was how she gave Kyle that whole big lecture as if she felt like what he said was so wrong. And then they were like cuddled up and snuggled up shortly after that. And then they got out of the house and then they were in this alleged relationship traveling together. Supposedly they collected money. Not even supposedly. I know they had like some GoFundMe stuff up for their travel and they had their good old time and then they broke up. So a lot of things with that looked a little bit funny. She was like, that was wrong. You were low-key racist. All right. You got like 15 seconds. Exactly. Like she gave him this big speech admonishing him and everything, saying that she doesn't want to be associated with that, blah, blah, blah. And then she was right back in bed with him. So it was like, did you really mean that? And then after the show, you could say like, oh, maybe it was her comfort zone, or maybe she was doing it for gameplay to keep herself in the game. But then the fact that they went on tour together after the show and they went all over the world and they were, oh, we're a couple, we're Calissa, this and this and this. It was like, nah, you did not really mean all those things you said. I think you were just trying to look good. Like, I don't stand for that, because a lot of these people think about their edit. A lot of these people think about their edit and how they're going to be perceived. And it's fair. It's fair. But certain things are not about an edit. And that situation was not about an edit. It's like, and from what I've heard, which is not much because BB contracts are ironclad, there were some intense conversations that were had around that, especially between Monty and Kyle, Taylor and Kyle, and what's his name? Terrence and Kyle, that they didn't show us. And I really wish that we had seen those conversations. We saw bits and pieces, but I wish we had seen a lot more. She wanted a trip to Utah. Anyways, y'all, I'm hopping off. This is actually going to be a quick live, but you guys did the thing that usually happened when the season was on, which was I talked mostly to myself for a good chunk of time, and everyone came on when I was about to get off. And then I stayed on twice as long as I was going to stay on. But just to wrap this up, for anyone who may have just joined, shout out to Sam, for just being a cool person, giving me a great interview. I actually am not the one who recorded the footage, so it's not like my Zoom ones where I'm just building up for a release date. The videographer is working on the editing for me, and I'll probably have that video out to you guys hopefully in 1 to 2 weeks. Looking at this, but the thing is, the Big Brother season starts in 2 weeks. So if I don't get the video before Big Brother premieres, I'll probably push the interview back a little bit in terms of when to put it on, because I don't want to put it on in the midst of something happening with Big Brother, because then it's going to get less viewership. Maybe it might even make sense for me to put that video out when the Big Brother crowd starts coming back to my page, because then more people are going to see it. And I want that video to get its best light. And I want it to lead me to other things. And it's already about to lead me to other things. I promise y'all, those things are coming. There's a lot of behind the scenes conversations I'm having with people. I even have a potential surprise 2 guests, potentially, for the Challenge USA premiere, a review. I have at least 1. I could possibly get 2. It depends. But I'm not going to even list that out, because under promise, over deliver. I believe in that principle. All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good evening.